Our next guest is someone very, very special. He's an extremely handsome and talented young man who graduated from Stuyvesant in 1998 and went on to study drama at Carnegie Mellon University. He is most recognized for many musical theater roles in Broadway shows, including but not limited to Godspell, Wicked, and Rent, as well as his role on the hit television series Glee. Please give a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Telly Leung.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone at Sky that made it possible for me to join you all today. It feels really, really good to be home, and it is an honor for me to be your graduation speaker. Well, in classic Stuyvesant fashion, I was actually not the first choice for graduation speaker. It was like the college application process. The dream speaker was Jeremy Lin, but he said no. The reach speaker was Tina Fey. She also declined. That's right, you're looking at me, the safety school of graduation. But the leg up I have on all those famous guys is that I was sitting exactly where you were sitting when the Stuyvesant class of 1998 got up and got our diplomas one by one. Wow. Stuyvesant 98. Just saying those words make me feel so many things. The first thing I feel is old. I look out at all of your young, fresh faces, and there's a part of me that can hardly believe that it's been 14 years since I sat where you sat at my own graduation on a hot June day. But I remember that June day very well. And I also remember sitting where you're sitting and feeling relief. Because I know, personally, the blood, sweat, and tears it took to earn the seat that you're sitting in today. And that relief is earned and well-deserved. No more college applications. No more standardized tests. Well, not for another few years for those of you with LSATs and MCATs in your future. No more running to physics on the 8th floor soaking wet because you had swim gym in the basement the period before. No more cutting class to do homework for another class because you've spent all of your waking hours and all the right extracurricular activities to get you into the college of your choice. Relief that the insanity of this pressure cooker we call Sty is over. So to all of you who survived the madness, a big congratulations. Bravo. To all of the parents in the house, thank you and congrats to all of you for putting up with us during our 4 years of Stuyvesant crazy. The second feeling I get looking at all of you is nostalgia. I see all of you and I'm flooded with all the good times and laughs and memories of my own particular journey at Stuyvesant. The countless hours spent in the SU office. All the homeroom periods spent taking care of my little Sibs. And, of course, sing. But my journey at Sky actually started way before I first crossed that bridge and stepped into the building. My journey at Stuyvesant started with my parents. I am the only son of Chinese immigrant parents. Both my parents grew up in Canton during the height of the Cultural Revolution. And they quickly realized that a life in communist China was going to lead nowhere, and they needed to escape. Now, the British Commonwealth of Hong Kong was only a narrow body of water away. Think the distance between Brooklyn and Staten Island, right? That narrow body of water was what separated them from freedom, opportunity, and a new life. So, they decided to swim. It was a 7-hour swim from Canton to Hong Kong. And my mom would tell me stories of how she would sneak to the riverbank at night, keep hard chocolates in her pockets for sustenance on a long swim, and she swam with several friends on that fateful night. And she has never seen or heard from her friends since then. My father also swam, but was caught the first time and sent to a re-education camp as a punishment. But failure did not deter my father. And after he was released from several years of hard labor, he tried again, and he succeeded. The night of the second swim, my dad told his mother, my grandmother, that when he arrived in Hong Kong, he'd have to change his name, and that he'd send a telegram using the new name to let his family know that he was all right. The name he chose for himself, Loy Sang, which literally translates to born again, was the beginning of his new journey. My mom and dad, they met in Hong Kong, working at a travel agency. Mom was a tour guide, and dad was a file clerk, and they started dating and getting to know each other. Oh, you're cute. No, you're cute. Oh, you like wonton soup? I like wonton soup. You swam 7 hours to escape communism, I swam 7 hours to escape communism. And they quickly fell in love. But they knew that they were ready to make yet another journey. A journey to America, where they would get married and have kids of their own, born in a land of opportunity. Enter Telly. My parents arrived in New York with no more than $200 and some suitcases and spent the first few months crashing on friends' couches, working blue-collar jobs in restaurants and garment factories, taking English classes at night, and saving every penny. Like most immigrant parents, they dreamed of a better life for their one and only son. And the American dream included Stuyvesant. Now, I was on a family vacation to Boston when I was 8 years old, and my dad and I stood outside the gates of Harvard, and he held my little 8-year-old hand and he said, "Hey, I don't want you to work a restaurant job like that. You study hard, get good grades, go to Stuyvesant, go to Harvard, be doctor, be lawyer, be engineer, make money." And then you buy nice Rolex for them. Now I'm sure many of you have similar stories. Well, I got the Stuyvesant part of the plan down. I worked hard and I got decent grades at Stuyvesant. But I quickly discovered that my parents' intended journey for me didn't jive with the journey in my heart. I was good at math. I was good at science. I was a good student, and I could learn anything and get good grades, but I found myself waking up every morning not looking forward to dissecting a frog in biology or solving equations in calculus. I met so many people at Stuyvesant who saw the world in physics and biology. It was like they're passionate. It was like they were seeing the world through equations like Russell Crowe did in A Beautiful Mind. And I saw the world in people and communities and collaborations, languages, interactions, stories. Like the world was one big sing and we all had our parts to play. In fact, I woke up every morning not looking forward to my 0 to 9 schedule of AP classes and drafting, but come on, who really looks forward to drafting? But I look forward to rehearsing my high school musical after school. I looked forward to my 5th period chorus with Miss Hall. I looked forward to Miss Shimon's acting class. I looked forward to Mr. Farbstein's AP psychology class because it made me see the world through different perspectives. I was not the typical Stuyvesant math and science kid, and I could feel my own path diverging away from my father's dream of seeing me at a Harvard graduation. I wanted so badly to be one of those other kids that loved spending hours in the chemistry lab and working on their Westinghouse projects. I wanted so badly to be that person that was a walking, talking, graphing calculator. Because A, I wanted to fit in at Stuyvesant, and B, I wanted my parents to be proud. You see, for my immigrant parents from China who worked and struggled so hard to flee the confines of communism, the American dream was a monetary one. And going to Stuyvesant and getting into Harvard or Yale would prove to be the most surefire path to a successful career that would provide me and my family financial stability. The American dream was a goal to be attained, a number. It was a result. And I know all of us at Stuyvesant understand what it means to achieve results. To achieve that right SAT score, the right GPA to get into the right colleges that would get us the right med school or the right law school acceptance, all leading to the ultimate goal, success. And today, this moment, this graduation is a celebration of that success. But the question I pose to all of you as we sit here to celebrate the successful end of this particular end of your journey and the beginning of a new one is, what is success? In a few moments, we'll all get up here and pick up your diplomas. Does that piece of paper define success? For all of you going to your dream colleges, congratulations. Does that acceptance letter define you and your success? For those of you who didn't get into your dream college, does that mean that you failed? Are you defined by that rejection letter from XYZ college? Well, I didn't get into Harvard like my parents wanted me to. Instead of following my parents' advice and spending more time in my studies, I chose to spend my time doing other things that really spoke to my heart during my high school career. And initially, they saw me as a failure because I chose to do that instead. And I, too, saw myself as a failure. Did I just blow my chances at an Ivy League school? Did I blow my chance at success because I spent too much time at the Murray Kahn Theater singing and dancing? And I had to come to terms with something and ask myself a difficult question. Was I a failure? Oh, failure. Well, that word carries so much dread to a typical Stuyvesant student. In our competitive environment, failure is not an option. Success, results, grades, that magic GPA number that'll get us in our dream school, that's what we spend countless hours aiming to achieve. What we've been bred and trained to always get. A pluses, and never fail. An Ivy League school was not an option for me. I didn't get into Harvard or Yale, but I got into my reach schools, Vassar and Carnegie Mellon. I got into Vassar as a liberal arts major, so I'd be getting a, quote, real, unquote, degree. And I got into Carnegie Mellon's musical theater program, where I'd be getting a bachelor in fine arts. Well, my parents weren't crazy about the theater degree, but I got the better financial aid package from Carnegie, and to my very frugal Chinese parents, money talked. Now, when I first arrived at Carnegie and took my freshman acting class, I got a C at the end of my first semester. A C, my Stuyvesant brain did not compute. I worked hard, I studied hard, I read all the books on the required reading list, I knew my lines, I was prepared, I had all of my beats, motivations, actions, movements planned out and rehearsed. How could I possibly get a C? I have never gotten a C in my life. One of my acting professors, Mladen Kiselov, who was originally from the Moscow Art Theater, said to me, Telly, you did not get C for not working hard. You get C because you did not take risks. You did not give yourself chance to discover things in the moment. The only way you are going to do that is if you stop focusing on result. Give yourself permission to fail. Fail big. Don't say, make mistake, mess up lines. Go from moment to moment. Don't focus on where the character is going. Focus on how he gets there. Then you will surprise yourself with what you learn from this character. And it was actually my goal-oriented Stuyvesant brain that got in the way. I had spent so much time planning what I was going to do on stage and getting it right that I forgot to actually just live in the moment and allow myself to take risks, make discoveries in the moment, maybe stumble upon those, quote, mistakes, unquote, that might actually enlighten me about the character. Mladen was right. No one wants to see a safe actor. That's why we're drawn to actors like Meryl Streep and Al Pacino. They constantly surprise us and do the unexpected. But how many rehearsals filled with mistakes and choices that did not work did brilliant artists like that have to go through before arriving to that definitive performance we see on a stage and a screen? And it made me also think, how many defunct planes did the Wright brothers make until they could soar? How many light bulbs did Thomas Edison create until he literally revolutionized the way we saw the world. Even penicillin was an accidental discovery, a mistake that ended up saving lives. And my own father, who put everything on the line, failed at his first attempt to escape the communist system. But what did he do? He learned from it. He put himself on the line again and was able to succeed the second time and swim to freedom. Well, those acting classes at Carnegie ended up paying off. And shortly after my college graduation in 2002, I booked my first Broadway show, the revival of Flower Drum Song. And when I got the phone call, I was actually home in Brooklyn with my parents. My parents, who were originally furious with me for messing up their master plan for me to go to Harvard and be a doctor, were now jumping for joy with me. In fact, they decided to open a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne that they had been saving for a special occasion that was a wedding gift from 1975. I mean, this bottle of champagne was older than I. And in between glasses of champagne, my mom, a little drunk, said to me, hey, when you first said you want to go to Carnegie Mellon and study acting, I was so not happy. But I am thinking, children is like stock market. You put money in stock, and sometimes stock go up, sometimes stock go down. Today, my stock going up. That was my mom's way of telling me she was happy for me. Now, through the years, Broadway shows have opened and closed. Actors spend a lot of time unemployed in this competitive market as they search for that next gig. And each time, my parents would encourage me to quit acting. Dad would always say, okay, playtime over, go to grad school, get a real job. But now that I've been doing this for 10 years, they don't say it anymore. You see, along the way on my unexpected journey as an actor, something surprising happened. They redefined their definition of success. They redefined their idea of the American dream. What they wanted for me was a better life, and at first, a better life to them meant financial stability and a six-figure paycheck. But through me and my journey, they learned the other side of the American dream. The real reason they decided to make that dangerous swim from communist China to Hong Kong. Having a better life in America meant having more than just money. It meant having freedom, the choice and opportunity to make one's happiness a reality. And yes, I might have been better off financially if I had played it safe and decided to go to med school, but what they were able to learn from me is that there is no price on the happiness I feel getting to do what I love to do for a living, bringing joy to an audience and inspiring people through the arts. And it was an incredible aha moment for me, and an even bigger aha moment for them. And none of us could have arrived at this revelation had it not been for the journey. Their swim was part of the journey. Stuyvesant was part of the journey. Not getting into Harvard was part of the journey. Getting a C in freshman acting was part of the journey. Getting my first Broadway show was part of the journey. And 10 years of ups and downs in show business and many heated fights with my parents, also part of the journey. So today, I'd like to challenge all of you, the future achievers, the future life-saving doctors who will find the cure for cancer, and the future astrophysicists building space stations on Saturn, and yes, even the few of you who will be future actors like me, to redefine your definition of success and understand that there is no success without the journey. And that part of the journey is that dreaded word we all hate as Stuyvesant students. Failure. Just as there can be no joy without deep sadness, no light without dark, no Darth Vader without Luke Skywalker, there is no success without failure because failure is part of the journey. We can try and plan our futures all we want, but inevitably we all have times when we stumble and we will bruise. But we truly find ourselves and find out who we are and what we are made of when we heal, pick ourselves up, continue on our journey, and learn something along the way. It's impossible to not have goals. We are Stuyvesant students after all. We are designed to focus on the where we are going, but don't forget to focus on the how you get there too. Focus on the journey and how you can make the getting there the most interesting, enlightening adventure of your life. Take risks, fail big, surprise your parents, surprise your friends, surprise the world, and while you are on your journey, you might even surprise yourself. Now, the greatest composer and lyricist of our time, Stephen Sondheim, who contributed to such masterpieces as West Side Story and Gypsy and Sweeney Todd, wrote a lyric that expresses the sentiment I want to leave you all with today. It's from a show called Sunny in the Park with George, and it's the final anthem, Move On. Stop worrying where you're going, move on. If you can know where you're going, you've gone. Just keep moving on. I chose and my world was shaking. So
young as the sunrise, let's go tame a typhoon. Let's play tag with the lightning while we're tightening the moon.